Our guest today is Emily Welsh of the FIRM, the #1 fitness program in the U.S. Emily started working out with the FIRM back in August 2000 after a college knee injury had kept her inactive for years. After her first workout with the FIRM, she was hooked and 1 year later became a FIRM Master Instructor. Emily had found her passion and since then has had the opportunity to appear and instruct on several of the firm's nationally recognized videos and infomercials. Emily opened the FIRM studio in Lexington, South Carolina in August 2007, and the business has continued to grow every year. To find out more about the FIRM and Emily's studio, you can go to www.firmdirect.com or www.thefirmstudios.com. Our sponsor for this episode is Winty. Winty is an aviation-themed t-shirt business designing and printing aviation-related graphics for pilots, aviation businesses, and aviation enthusiasts worldwide. Using DTG, direct-to-garment printing technology, Winty can print 1 or 100+ garments upon request within a reasonably low turnaround time, including customer-submitted graphics. Contact Winty Aviation T-Shirt Art by visiting winty.com today in order to find out how a custom aviation graphic can be printed for you. Hi, Emily. Thanks for coming on Savvy Central today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on. I've been a big fan of the firm for many years, and I was super excited to hear there's an actual live studio in South Carolina. And I'd love if you could tell the audience a little bit about what the firm's all about, how you came to creating the gym. How did this all come about for you?
Wow. Well, the firm for me started way back in 2000 when I found the firm, thanks to several instructors that I knew throughout college times, and I was hooked from day one. The first class I took, that was all it took. And I was an instructor about a year later and I have been teaching for them since then. And then in 2006, 2007, the firm, made several business changes in terms of their facilities and who was actually running the gym. We kept our same manager, but kind of did a business within a business at one point in time, and it didn't work out very well. So the firm moved out of its facility and really had no place to go. And Guyam, our corporation that owns our brand, they're based out of New York and Colorado. They weren't really interested in owning a small business because that's not what they do. They do direct TV marketing and things. So it was just floundering, basically. We really didn't have any place to go. And I just really wanted the gym to come to Lexington. This is where I live, in Lexington, South Carolina. And after trying several gyms around in Lexington, I knew that this would be the perfect home for the firm. So I approached the right people and asked them, if we could do this and do it in Lexington, South Carolina, which is about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Columbia, where it used to be located. And after some research, they decided that would be a great idea. So in August of 2007, we opened in Lexington, South Carolina, and we've been here ever since.
Oh, that's totally awesome. And my mom lives in South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where is she located? In Greenville.
That is where I'm from. Awesome.
Yay, awesomer.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going in the next month out to Greenville, and I'm excited and hoping to come on by to your studio beforehand and check it out live.
Oh, please do. It's about an hour and a half away. So just hit the road. You'll get
For us, we'll be lucky because we're flying in. So we found a small airport nearby. So we'll fly in, and we figured we'd do a stopover over there and maybe spend the day, check out the area because I've never been to Lexington.
Yes, it's a great little city.
Yeah, I'd be looking forward to it.
Oh, good. It'd be so nice to see you in person.
Yeah, it would be. And, after years of meeting you guys on the DVDs and getting to go work through the programs, you guys helped me out tremendously. At the time I started the firm, I was 26 or 30 pounds overweight, had extreme back pain all the time. During lunchtime at my office, I'd be underneath my desk trying to relieve my back pain. And my friend told me, hey, why don't you try out the firm? I've got some extra DVDs. And, so thank you guys.
Oh, you're so welcome. That's a great story, though. I'm glad to hear that we could help.
Yeah, thank you so much. So tell us more, what makes the firm unique and different from other fitness programs out there?
Well, the FIRM methodology is very different than anything else you're going to find in any gym setting. Again, it is group fitness, so the class is led by one instructor, and each instructor has a set of guidelines they have to follow. The way our methodology is set up, it's set up to be very efficient. You get a total body workout by combining upper and lower body, alternating right and left side, upper and lower, so you're getting also an hour's worth of cardio where your heart rate is up, your heart and lungs are active. And just the way that we put the exercises together, the way that we alternate back and forth between the exercises and cardio intervals, just makes the class, number one, much more efficient. You get a lot more done in less time. But two, more effective, because it does keep your heart rate up. It builds the muscle while you're getting the cardio benefit. So not only are you getting, more cardiovascularly fit, but you're getting leaner because of lean muscle mass that you're putting on due to the types of weight training that we do within our classes. And there really isn't a class in any other group fitness setting that can deliver what we deliver, because our methodology is so much better than everything else out there.
And I noticed that very early on, and I want to give everyone a tip that might help them. For me, I was super out of shape, and when I first bought your 15-minute tapes, or DVD, excuse me, I could barely get through 5-10 minutes of it.
Right.
So I first did 10 minutes at a time, and then just built upon that, which was really, would you suggest that for someone who just was like...
Definitely.
Oh,
yes,
awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, work your way up. There's no reason to go the whole 50 minutes or 40 minutes or however long your DVD is. That you can always work your way up. Either, if you can get through the whole thing, that's fabulous. And maybe don't use weights the first time, depending on, where you are fitness-wise. But definitely start where you're most comfortable and add in little bits at a time until you either can get through the whole thing or you can, add weights to the whole thing, whatever your, fitness level dictates. And here at the studio, we have the same issues. We still have people that come in here that have been sedentary most of their life, and or have injuries, or are just totally new to the firm in general and don't quite know what we do. And our instructors here teach to those beginners, is what we call them. There's modifications given for every exercise, and that's the way it is in the videos as well. There's modifications given for every cardio move, so you don't have to make things the most intense. You don't have to make things the biggest range of motion. There's always ways to, pare it back a little bit so that it's appropriate for you, where you are fitness-wise. And then, of course, you have tools as you get stronger and as you get fitter to make it what you needed at that point in time as well.
Great advice, and I liked when I got started, I followed that instruction and would do the simpler version of the exercise until I was ready. Some people might feel bad and say, well, I want to do the more advanced version, but work up to it because you don't want to get to yourself to a point where you injure yourself or feel frustrated because you can't do it. Yeah.
Yes, and I always say, form is the most important thing. Your form in the exercise is what's going to keep you from getting injured. You have to make sure your form is as perfect as it can be. And you don't want to add any weight or add any intensity or add any extra reps until you know your form is where it should be. And it's better to do 6 of them right than 12 of them wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was very concerned about form and doing it properly because I didn't want to injure my back anymore.
Yes.
Yes. So it was very helpful that I did it slowly, bit by bit, and within 3 months, I was able to do, of course, the full exercises 3 to 4 times a week, and had lost 26 pounds, felt awesome. Yeah,
that's
so
great.
It's totally possible, guys. And I like that you mentioned about the intensity. That is another thing I mentioned, that even when you're not doing the high-impact aerobics, you're lifting weights right after the high-impact or medium-impact aerobics, that still keeps your heart rate up and going, so you always feel that
Yes. So, you really can't go wrong with the firm. There's something for everyone, I believe. And even if, again, you're a sedentary individual and you haven't been doing anything, there's still a place you can start with the firm. And at the same time, you never really outgrow it. You can continue to add heavier weight, add more intensity, do more than one video, especially if they're shorter videos. And then, of course, there's always a place to start. And there's always something that you might like. There's plenty of instructors to choose from, lots of different personalities and different movement styles. And, of course, different body types to identify with. So I think that also helps.
Yeah, that was a big one for me. Allie, I identified with her because I looked at her body type and said, I'm about that body type.
Right.
And it makes me feel better that, okay, I don't have to be like super stick skinny and,
No.
No,
and that's the great thing, too, is that one thing I didn't mention earlier, every single person that you will see in a video or that comes here and teaches at the facility in Lexington, all of these are real women. We're not fitness models. We're not fitness professionals in terms of this is all we do. Now, granted, it's what I do because I own this facility, but I also sit at my desk a good bit. But, the women that you see in the videos and the women that you see in our classes here are moms. They have children. Maybe they have full-time jobs. They could be attorneys or doctors or professors. We've got a huge variety of people, and they do this once 3 times, 4 times a week. I mean, they don't work out every single day for 3 and 4 hours a day. And they're very fit women because what we do works. And they're real women. So I think it helps to see a variety of shapes and sizes, a variety of women in different phases of life. You know, we have everyone from 24-year-olds up to 55-year-olds and everything in between, different phases of life and different fitness styles so that, you know, you can find a body type you identify with. You can find someone who is in the same phase of life as you. And you say, you know what, they can do that, I can do that. So it does help.
Yeah, and I like what you said there, that they're not at the gym 4 hours a day.
No. One class a day.
Yeah, some people tend to think, well, if I'm going to look like them, I'm going to have to be at the gym 24/7, and I'm just not even going to start because why bother? And that's not true.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And if that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. But most of us don't have time for that. We just want to be as healthy as we can for our families and for ourselves so that we continue to be able to keep up with our children, productive members of society, and able to keep up, you know, through the years. And that's the goal. The goal is to stay as healthy as we can as long as we can. And that's what we do here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, tell me, as you've gotten up and going, you got this wonderful firm going, the gym itself, what were some of the biggest challenges and hurdles you had to overcome getting the business up and going and off the ground? How did you overcome them?
Well, gosh, there's a good many. To start, I have an education degree. I was a teacher before I was an at-home mom with my kids. So I had no idea how to start a business. I had my manager, Rebecca Sturkey. She's been the manager for the firm for years now, and thank goodness she was willing to start with me and be the manager for the gym because she had a lot of inside knowledge on how certain processes worked and how the gym had run for so many years. And, you know, we changed it along the way based upon what we needed for it to do. But she had so much experience already. That helped me tremendously. I can't imagine if I hadn't had her, I wouldn't have known what to do with anything, you know, from the schedule to the payroll to the whatever. So she helped a lot. But there were a lot of things that I've learned along the way. One of the big things was even though the firm is a national brand, everyone had heard of the firm in terms of people who exercised. I still, moving out to Lexington, was starting from scratch. I didn't have 1,000 clients coming through my door day one. So I had to, number one, learn how to market, which I didn't really know how to do. I had to figure out what's going to work for us, what works best, who to target. You know, I knew that the majority of our clients were going to be people like me, women in their 30s, you know, late 20s, early 30s, mid-30s, late 30s, 40s, that have children, maybe stay-at-home moms, maybe working moms. But, you know, we do cater to women. So I figured that would be our main group of clientele, but how do I reach those people? I didn't know much about marketing at that point. So a lot of things were just by trial and error, and it was very scary starting day one, not knowing if anyone was going to come through our doors. We were very lucky that we did have some folks that were excited about opening, and they had heard that we were going to open, you know, so we did have a good group the first couple of weeks. But, you know, it was working from the ground up and just plugging away at going to everything we could go to in terms of community outreach and trying to put our name out there as much as possible and offering free weeks and free classes and, you know, come and try this for free. You don't have to pay a dime. Come and see what we're like, and then hopefully these people would want to be part of us at some point. So that was the scariest part of it. The biggest part of it is starting something from scratch and not knowing if it's going to work. But, you know, we're very blessed that it did, very lucky that, you know, we've continued to have the success we've had. And then, you know, the next biggest hurdle for me was marketing, and it continues to be. You know, you're always trying to figure out what's going to work. This time of the year, it was resolution time a couple months ago. Now it's, you know, we're getting close to bathing suit season. So then you've got summertime when nobody wants to commit to anything. And then it's back to school and back to busy and back to I don't have time for it. And then you've got Christmas and back to the resolutions. And so it's, you know, there's always this ebb and flow of people's personalities and what they're going to be willing to do. But how do you market to those people? How do you, you know, get them to come try your facility and get them to make the decision to join your facility without, you know, cutting your prices so low that you don't make money? Without, you know, offering something that you can't continue to offer to the people. You know, with the big Groupons and things like that, you have to be real careful not to oversell yourself, basically, and end up having too many people that you can't service. So it's been still a trial and error thing for us over the past 5 years, marketing-wise, but we're doing a pretty good job of it, I think. I think we're really starting to figure out what's working best for us, and it's been successful. So we're going to keep on keeping on and hope that we make the right decisions from here on out.
Yeah, and you mentioned a number of good things that a lot of people don't realize when they first open the doors, me included, was people are just not going to bang your door down day one. And especially if you're a physical product, even also very hard if you're an intangible product like an online product, because as I said to one of my friends who started an online business, you're among a billion businesses out on the internet, and you might be awesome, you have a wonderful website, even great SEO, but people don't know or trust you in the product yet. You have to build that trust.
Right. Yeah, and that, at least for me, I don't feel like it's hard to do once you get them in, but you've got to get them in. How do you entice them to get them in? How do you explain via a magazine ad or an online ad or a radio ad or, even I would get in front of people as much as I could. How do you tempt people to come try you? Come see me or buy my product or try my product, because there's so many products of the same out there. So it's finding the right words and the right type of marketing that shows you off the best, which, I think, again, it takes trial and error. And it's also seeing your clientele. What do they respond to best? Do they respond to in-your-face ads, or do they respond to me being in front of them in person and selling it in person? It's just different, I think, depending on type of area that you live in and obviously what you're selling, what your business is about. It's been a great learning experience for me, for us, and I learn every time. Every month I learn something new, so it's good. It's all good.
Yeah, and you mentioned price point. Another good thing to remember is not to undercut yourself. And I, the first year, worked in consulting, so what I gave away was 40-minute free consultation, which ended up sometimes being a 2-hour call. So you wonder, how many of those do you give away for free? Where has it become where you've drawn the line, you've gone over, and now you're just giving away free stuff? Right.
And I struggle with that still, because I still feel that you're not going to be hooked, you're not going to get in here and love it until you've had an opportunity to be in here for more than just 1 hour. So you really got to put forth some effort and work this into your weekly lifestyle to see if it's something that works for you. And then I've got people that are all, and everybody wants a deal, and that's hard. That's really hard, because you want to give them a deal, but at the same time, you have to step back and say, you know what? Number one, this is a for-profit business. I have to make money to provide you the service that you're paying for. But number two, I'm worth it. What we're charging, we are worth it. I shouldn't have to cut you a deal, because I am worth the price that you're paying. What I'm offering you is so much better than what you're getting elsewhere, and it is worth this price and more. So I struggle with, should I cut them a deal? Should I not make them pay this? Should I not make them pay that? Should I let them have this rate even though, And that's not the way we do business here. We try to make it fair for everyone. Everyone pays the same rates. But at the same time, I have to remind myself that it's, not to feel bad. Our prices are our prices because we are worth these prices. We have to have a certain price to be able to stay in business, to pay the people that are providing the service. So it's 6 and 1, half dozen others, think about it that way. But just reminding myself that we're worth it helps me to not feel so bad. Someone asks for a deal, and I have to say, no, we don't work deals here. Our price is our price is our price.
No haggling at the front desk.
Yes, and we don't. There's so many gyms that do that, and I don't think that's fair. That's another one big thing that I've stood behind, is that my prices are posted, and those are our prices, and everyone pays the same price. I don't take you in the office and sell you 3 or 4 8-month membership or a year membership if you pay this much up front and draft this much each month, because some gyms do that. And it matters, you walk through the door one day and you might get one rate, and then a week later you get a different sales guy who's in a better mood and you get a different rate. And that's not the way I choose to do business. I don't want any of my clients feeling like they got a better deal than someone that came in before or after them. I think that it should be fair across the board, because everyone is of equal importance. I want every client in here to realize that they're valued just as much as the person next to them. And the prices should reflect that. Everybody pays the same. Everybody's treated the same.
I love that, because people think, oh, I want that cheap deal, but what they're not realizing, and I was just discussing this with a friend this week, is that if you're going to get a deal everywhere, someone's going to have to take a cut on that.
Yes.
Even if you go out and think, I want that shirt for 5 cents, or where do you think you're going to get that shirt from 5 cents? It's going to be made by a child overseas with bleeding hands, probably working 20 billion hours a day.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it made by an American.
True. And too, that old adage, you get what you pay for, it is so true. Here, we give a lot more personal attention. When you buy a FIRM video, that instructor is focused on you. Those videos were made with you in mind. Those videos were made so that you feel like you have us right there in your house. We want to give you good advice and good education and good instruction. And you don't get that everywhere you go. And the price reflects that. If you want to go down to the big gym down the street and pay $19.99 a month, then that's fine and dandy. But they're not going to care whether you walk in the door every day. They've got your money. But I care to see your face every day. And when we haven't heard from you in a while, we're going to give you a call and say, where have you been? You're not getting anywhere if you're not in here. And it just makes me feel like we have a personal connection with our clients, and that's what we want. We care that you're succeeding. We care that you're healthy and sticking around, and that's what we do here. That's our goal. And so our price and our culture here reflect that.
And I've sensed that even from your DVDs and being with you guys, in that way I can sense that you really care about people getting it. You always make sure to tell people exactly how to do the proper form so they don't injure themselves. I've listened to a lot of other exercise videos, but they're not the least bit confirmed. They're doing it like they're sitting there in front of the mirror watching how beautiful they are.
Exactly. And that's, how disheartening is that? To know that the instructor that's taking you through whatever you're working with doesn't really care. They're looking at themselves, or more worried about their workout, more worried about how pretty they look in the mirror. And that's just someone who actually needs that helping hand, someone to hold their hand and get them through that hour. That's very disheartening to them, because you've just told that person right then, I really don't care about you. And they need someone to care. That's the reason they've purchased your video or come into your class, is they need some help. If you're not willing to put yourself out there and actually help that person and put yourself aside, you're not doing your job.
I completely agree. And I've gotten that same feedback from a couple of gyms I actually went to, physical gyms, that I won't mention names, of course, that I went into, like you had mentioned before, that they gave me a so-called special deal, and I came in there, started working out. They got so many people in the door that we couldn't actually use machines because they were all filled. You had to wait online to get on one of the machines. But then I would talk to other people, and they got a better deal than me. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. I'm having to wait 40 minutes to get on a machine, and you're paying less than I am?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can feel that disrespect, and that all you are is a money bag to them.
Yes, and that's, if you're okay with that, then that's your prerogative. Obviously, some people want the deal no matter what it costs them in terms of, personal attention and all of that. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But for me as a business owner, my goal is to make money. My goal is to have a successful business. But I have a passion for what I do, and that passion overrides the money-making part of it. My passion is to not slam my gym so full of people that I can't service them. My passion is to know every person that walks through my doors, I can help them reach their goals. I can teach them. I can educate them. I can make them feel comfortable. I can give them some sort of empowerment so that they feel like they have gotten something out of their membership here, not just take their money every month and hope they don't show up. I feel like that's what you get when you go to a lot of places, and those people, and I'm not saying this in a rude way, but they might not have the passion for what they're doing. It's more of a business for them, less about loving their business. And I absolutely love what I do. I love the people. I love the fitness industry. I love helping people reach their goals. And if I looked at it more as a business and less as my passion and at helping people and educating people, then it would turn into one of those gyms. And I don't want it to ever turn into one of those gyms. I want it to be a personal, helpful, educational place. And that's my goal.
Yay, awesome. But what I do love about a little gem that you mentioned there is you're worth it, and to charge or undercut would kind of be devaluing yourself. And I think that's a good message for new business owners out there. If you have a gift and a real talent and something to offer the world, and you do it very well, there's no reason to undercut yourself just to get the extra buck, because you know what? You're going to be sending that message to the client that you're not worth it.
Exactly.
So a great gem that you mentioned.
Good. Well, good.
So I'd love if you could tell us along your journey here, who have been some of your role models that have inspired you on your journey?
Well, for sure my mom. I think any woman out there would say that their mother has been one of the role models, just because moms do it all. Moms, most of the time, whether they're a working mom or an at-home mom, you've learned your organizational skills, your go-get-'em skills, your don't-stand-in-my-way skills from your mom most of the time. And my mom is a working mom and has been since I was, as long as I can remember, probably 5 or 6 years old, and has worked her way up to where she's very successful and ran a household, took care of the 3 of us, gave us everything we needed. My dad did too, but my dad, it was a different time. My dad worked all day away, but, Mom was there in between everything and getting us back and forth to all of our lessons and practices and such. Plus, being a businesswoman and not having the experience that she had when she first started in her career, it was one of those, she had to start from the bottom, but she didn't let anything stand in her way. She said, just watch out, here I come. I'm going to learn, I'm going to push, and I kind of have that same mantra, I guess, tell me I can't do it. Tell me I can't do it and watch me. And
I love it.
The way I've always been. And, my husband too, he's been a great role model and a wonderful help. He is in banking and knew exactly where to start, who to go speak to and all of this. But he did. He sat me down, he looked at me and said, I don't think you really understand what you want to do in terms of opening this gym. And I said, no, I do. And he said, no, I really don't know if you understand what you're getting yourself into. Lifestyle's going to change totally. You've got 2 young kids at home. I just want you to be very aware as to what's going to happen and how much is this going to change our lives. And he never told me I couldn't do it. But that was enough to say, I'm going to make it work. Watch me figure this out. And with his help, and of course Rebecca's help and other people around, I have. And I think that that's one of the best things I can give my kids is that they see that I'm a mom first and a wife, but I'm also a business owner. And I took something I knew nothing about other than loving the brand and loving the fitness part of it. But owning my own business I knew nothing about. I took my attitude, my go-get-em attitude, my will to succeed, and I just made it happen. And I think that anybody can do that if you're passionate enough about what you do. You just don't let anything stand in your way. And there's always ways to work around the obstacles. There's always ways. You just have to sit back and study it from different angles, ask advice, ask as many people as you know in the same industry or that have opened their own businesses. What did you do? How did you help? And, just surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals helps as well. And just get a good team and let people help you, and you'll go forever.
Yeah, and I like what you mentioned, that hang out with like-minded people, find out people who have succeeded in it and ask their advice.
Definitely. I mean, there's only the people that have succeeded are the ones who know how to succeed. It's always good. You can always learn from people that they might not own a gym, but they might own a jewelry store, or they might own a magazine company, or whatever. But they always have some experience that you can draw from, or a little aha moment that you might take away and say, hey, I might try that. So, you can always learn from people around you. We should never stop learning.
No, definitely not. There's a saying in aviation called a good pilot's always learning, and I like to say a good person is always learning, in that you always make yourself a better person by learning.
Definitely.
Never shut it down.
Definitely. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So what would you say, Emily, up to this point would be your greatest achievement you've accomplished thus far in your personal life and in your business?
Personal life, for sure, my babies, hands down. I think any mom would say that. I have a 9-year-old and an almost 8-year-old, both little girls, and, they're your world. They're my world. That's why I do what I do. That's why I, number one, take care of myself, because I want to be around so I can watch them grow and watch their babies grow. And that's the whole reason for being for me, is taking care of my children and helping them grow into independent, self-sufficient, productive individuals in society. They also, they push me. They are, those 2 little people are the ones that, when you get worn out and you don't, not that I'll never want to go to work, but there's other things that I'd rather be doing, I got to get up and go to work because I got to take care of those 2 little people. So personally, they are my number one achievement. I think that I couldn't do any better than the 2 of them. Business-wise, it would have to be this. It would have to be building this new facility. We built a new facility last year, moved into it at the end of April. So now not only do I own the business, but we actually own the facility that we're in. We have been renting forever. The firm has always rented.
Awesome.
My husband and I built a 9,000 square foot facility for us that is made for us, built for us. It functions like we need it to function versus a big box and us trying to make it fit. It's absolutely perfect for us. And so that, business-wise, is our biggest achievement, because we're actually growing enough and successful enough that we can have our own facility. And it's
Congratulations.
just been great. Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
That's totally awesome. And you're leaving quite a legacy to your 2 daughters that they can grow up and an example for them.
Yes.
And other women out there. Thank you, Emily.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. That was very sweet of you to say.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I would love to find out from you and your vast experience in business now what you have seen as some of the biggest mistakes businesses make, and how might they avoid some of these mistakes?
Well, a couple things I've seen now. It hasn't been a ton. I've only been in business for myself almost going 6 years now. But one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people go in no holds barred when they open their doors. They offer too much. Their overhead is way too high versus just starting out with what can they offer that shows who they are as a company, as a business, but also manageable. So it's not such a huge overhead that you've got to have people, banging down your doors day one. You need to be able to grow your business and grow what you can offer as your business grows with it. So what we did is start with a very small schedule. I didn't open my doors with 50 classes a week on my schedule. That's 50 people I have to pay, plus my overhead in terms of rent and electricity and all of that. And I didn't know if I was going to have anybody coming through my doors. So I chose not to go that route. I chose, let me just offer a few here or there. And obviously I taught a lot of those. But, I started on a very small scale. And then as my business grew, we grew in terms of our scheduling and what we could offer. So I think that's a big mistake for a lot of folks is they just offer as much as they can, buy tons of inventory and just throw it out there hoping people are going to purchase it. And I think it creates a sense of demand when all of a sudden you run out. Oh, they don't have that. Everybody must love that. So there's a sense of, I got to have it. Well, now you can order it. You've got these 10 clients that want this thing, so you can either order it and keep it in stock for them for later, or you can offer it down the road, and, maybe they'll be excited to come back through the doors that way. But I just feel like, starting on a smaller scale, it just makes more sense financially. You can only pay out as much as you got coming in, so you need to have that money coming in. And then the second thing was, I didn't go this route, but I've heard a lot of people, they use outside of their business area consulting firms to tell them how to market, which I found very strange. Because how would a company, say in New York, know how to market to Lexington, South Carolina?
Exactly.
And I thought that was odd. And you're paying, a lot of money for someone to tell you how to spend your money. And I said, I just find that very strange. And again, that's just my opinion because I'm a small-town girl. But I just felt like, I'm going to go about this my way. I'm going to learn the people I'm marketing to. I'm going to learn the area that I'm marketing to. I'm going to learn what's around that I am actually able to afford. I'm not going to, just because a marketing firm told me to go and spend $10,000 a month on radio, I'm not going to go spend $10,000 a month on radio. You don't have that kind of money when you first start your own business. So I think that's not, in my opinion, the best way to go. I think you need to learn your market by being out in it. I think you need to, be in front of the people that you're trying to sell and promote to, and you need to put yourself in situations where you learn what your clients want, whether that's being part of your Chamber of Commerce, whether that's going school to school. They have the school functions, any sort of community outreach that you can do. That's how you learn your clients and your business people. People are going to step through your doors. And when you learn them, you can best learn how to market to them. If they're at-home moms, are they going to be listening to the radio all day? Probably not. Why would you want to spend $10,000 a month on radio when they're at home with babies or back and forth to work or, whatever the case may be? You need to learn your people, and then you can learn how to market to them versus letting someone 5 states away tell you how to do it.
No, great advice, great advice. I had heard that there are certain people in the beginning who hire even salespeople and marketing people. And again, I thought that didn't make much sense because who knows your product better than you do? It's your passion. And no matter what, even if you pay someone a good amount of money, a marketing company, and they do have a great passion for helping their client, they're still not you, and they don't get your product as well as you are going to get it. Exactly. So it makes sense that you would know your area, your people, your client, and your passion better than anyone else. So you should be the one to market it and sell it.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and I liked your point there about overhead. I'm sure quite a few people get into that. For me, like I said, it was giving away too much of my services, which is kind of the same thing that you're mentioning, is that I'm not a tangible service, a tangible product, but it's the same type of idea that you're just giving too much away of everything. And then what happens when, in my case, I get burned out? In the case of a tangible product, you sell out, and now you're left with no inventory or a bunch of inventory you can't get rid of.
Right. Yeah. And you're paying a ton of overhead for things that you can't sell. And you're out all that money, or you might not even have the money to pay because you purchased it assuming you're going to have people coming through the doors to be able to pay for it later. And that's just, I'm also one of those people, and this is also personally, no credit cards. You don't have the cash, you don't buy it. I wouldn't buy a ton of equipment hoping I would end up having the clients to use it. You purchase what you can purchase, what you're capable of spending money on, and you pay for it then. You don't hope the money's going to come later because that's how you get yourself into trouble. You can only spend what you got, and that's the mindset I keep too.
Very sound advice, and one that many Americans, including myself, can learn. Yeah, we rely way too much on credit these days.
We do. I mean, it is helpful. You need it, and you need to have it for backup. But, to live solely on credit, you can get yourself into some big trouble that way. So I'm definitely of the mindset, if I don't have the cash to pay for it, I'm not purchasing it.
Very sound advice. What do you have for your goals for the next year or so for the firm and your gym?
Well, obviously growing our membership. That's a goal. That's a daily goal. And we're actually on target to grow a lot faster than we've ever grown this year. We are doing great, steadily having people come through the doors, whether it's New Year's resolution time or not. And we know there's ebb and flow, but we've been really, really steady with our new clientele, which is just so happy. Makes me very excited. Another thing is I really want to grow certain aspects of our gym. We've got different types of classes, and different people would come to those classes. So, for instance, we have yoga. Yoga is such a huge part of a fitness program, and whether it's yoga or Pilates or some sort of lower intensity but flexibility-focused workout, which is an aspect of fitness and that we all need, I feel like we really need to focus on some of our yoga programs and growing that schedule. So I would love to be able to offer more classes, hire more instructors in that respect, have more people through our doors for that. Obviously, I'd love for them to take other classes as well, but if we could have just a yoga-focused group, I would be fine with that. And then, too, overall, across the board, just growing the number of instructors we have and the number of classes that we can offer to service to our clients. The more members I have, the more I can offer, the more I can pay to do. And then, like I said before, our gym has always somewhat catered to women. But my husband and I wanted to make this more of a gender-neutral facility because there's several men in the past who have loved the firm and always loved the firm, and they realize, this is a pretty tough workout. I can get a lot out of this. So we have tried really hard to make a gender-neutral facility so that men feel comfortable here. It's not girly. It doesn't feel girly when you walk in. It's not pink, pink and purple everywhere. And we built a really nice, very solid masculine weight gym. Women can work out in there as well. I mean, it's very user-friendly for men and women, but it is definitely to try to get some more fellas through the doors. So we're hoping to create a little more of that family atmosphere, having the husbands and wives work out together, or dad or husband can go into the weight gym if he's not comfortable in the classroom setting, and the wife can go and work out in the classroom. And we have child care. So child care is offered in all of our memberships, free of charge. It's included in your membership. So, the whole family could come. Kids can play and do homework or whatever in the child care areas while mom and dad are getting healthy. And then, of course, kids programs, too. So,
yay. So you have kids exercise programs as well? Or?
We want to start them. That's one of our goals for the next couple of years. We're getting kind of short on time in terms of starting them for this summer, but we would love to have anything that we could offer steadily throughout the year for children. Right now, you have to be 14 to be able to work out in our facility. So we're thinking children ages 7, 8, whenever they've got the motor skills, up to the age 14, and offer things that are appropriate and developmentally appropriate and exciting and fun that would keep them moving so they're not just sitting in a room. So while mom's exercising or dad's exercising, they're actually having fun but getting some much-needed release because we know that they don't get enough playtime during the day. And so, and I think it's just, families that work out together are healthy together. And I think that showing the kids that it's okay, it's fun. You can use your body and have fun doing it. It's okay to sweat. It's okay to, do things that might be a little uncomfortable, but then you feel really strong afterwards when you're done. And it's always good to start early. Get that love of movement ingrained from the start so that as they grow and as they get older, they're going to search out those means of movement, whether it's dance or gymnastics or football and basketball, or even in college if they decide they wanted to become some sort of fitness instructor. Just search out means of movement and using their bodies, and they'll stay healthy so much longer.
And that's a great idea because how much of our society now is obese and overweight and sedentary, as you said earlier. And when you get them started earlier, they'll love the idea of getting out and about. And how many of us have grown up? We used to play outside and do a bunch of games. And now most of the games are on TV or on the Internet, on computer. So it kind of just promotes the sitting down, very early on.
It does. And it's very sad to see that kids would prefer to sit at home and sit inside rather than ride their bikes or climb the trees or, do whatever we did as a kid. I remember that, staying outside until your mother is screaming, come in, it's dark, or you're playing flashlight tag until you had to go to bed. We were outside from the moment we woke up until the moment we had to come in. But it's not like that anymore. And, our society has a lot to do with that in terms of it's not maybe as safe as it used to be, but still we can create ways to keep our children active. And if we can keep them active together, us being good role models and showing them that it's good to be active, it's good to work out, and I'm using my fingers in quotes even though you can't see me. It's good to move our bodies and, use our muscles that we're given, because if you don't move them, you lose them. Moving our bodies and getting stronger and staying healthier just creates that almost the expectation that that's how you live life, and that it's just ingrained, and that's the way they were brought up. They're going to continue to live life that way.
Awesome advice. And I would love for anyone who's near the surrounding area of your gym to come take a look and take one of your classes and join. Can you tell everyone where they can get in contact with you guys and come visit you all?
Yes, well, we're in Lexington, South Carolina, right off Highway 378, Sunset Boulevard. You can reach us at 803-951-3476. That's our number. Or you can get on our website, www.thefirmstudios.com. All the information is there. You can come and try us for free, no obligation to do anything but have a good time. And we hope to see your face. We would love to meet any new clients that are interested in trying us out.
Yes, everyone, and any of you who are nowhere near South Carolina, don't worry. You can see all the wonderful instructors, including Emily, on thefirmdirect.com, correct?
Yes, firmdirect.com. That is our national website, and we do have a firm store on that website, so you can purchase all the DVDs and videos off of that website, as well as you can join the forum. We have a Firm Direct forum where you can chat with us online and read articles written by us and our registered dietitian nutritionist, post questions. There's all kinds of bulletin boards with forums, and it's just a really fun place to get a lot of great information and, of course, keep up with us.
Yes, and also a whole bunch of wonderful products. One product I fell in love with a couple years ago called the Wave.
Yes.
Nice, really cool product where it's like a stepper guide, so you can turn it on the opposite side and it's like you rock on it. And so it makes exercise very fun. You use your core, so it gets your core stimulated throughout all the exercises. They have a fanny firmer, a bunch of other equipment. I have about 5 or 6 different equipments in my house here, but they have so many of the equipment, and also weights you can buy on their website as well to get you started with those DVDs.
Definitely. So everything you need, one-stop shop.
That's right. Well, before we go, Millie, do you have any last words of advice you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, in terms of starting your own business, if that's your goal and that's what you want to do, just be passionate about whatever it is that you're trying to do, and put that first. Don't obviously you need to make money, you need to be solvent, but the most important thing is that you really love what you do, because owning your own business is a 24/7 job. You never, ever get to walk away, but if you love it, it won't feel like work. So
absolutely. I agree. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on Savvy Central Radio, Emily.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Join us this Friday, March 29th, for the last show of March. Our guest will be Chelsea Abingdon Welsh, the founder and CEO of the Abingdon Company, which introduced the first aviation watch for women.